In this video, I'm going to tell you 8 things you need to know about fructose. If you want to control what you eat, control your body, and control your life, then hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. Ever since Dr. Robert Lustig made that famous presentation about sugar about 10 years ago and implicated fructose for all sorts of health maladies like diabetes and obesity and high blood pressure, etc., there's been a lot of hysteria about fructose. Fructose is a naturally occurring sugar in fruit, but in recent decades they've learned how to concentrate fructose in a very concentrated form, like fructose corn syrup, and they've added that to just about everything that you can buy in the grocery store. And now we think that fructose is causing all these health problems. But in this video, I'm going to explain why you shouldn't avoid it and why it might be healthy. My first point is that humans really like fructose. When you look at hunter-gatherers, whatever is left in this world, they always like to find honey, and they will actually risk their lives and climb a tree and hit a beehive and break the beehive so that they can take the honey. And they'll take their hands and just scoop it like this. They've done observational studies on what hunter-gatherers eat in the open. Hunter-gatherers who know nothing about nutrition, who've never read a diet book, who have never been corrupted by all of these nutritionists and personal trainers, and just see how they eat. And humans around the world love to eat fructose, and they'll drink like a liter of honey. Can you imagine that, drinking a liter of honey? How much sugar that is? Well, that tells me we have this natural predilection for sugar and for stuff that's sweet, which means that we have the ability to metabolize it and to properly absorb it. And it also tells me that there's some kind of nutritional need for it. If our bodies didn't need it, then why do we crave it so much? Honey is a very concentrated form of calories. That's probably why we like it. But if it's poisonous and toxic, why do our bodies like it so much? Even people who say they don't have a sweet tooth still like something sweet once in a while, which tells me that it's probably okay to have a little bit of fructose. The second point about fructose is that it's a naturally occurring sugar that you find in fruit. And eating fruit is actually really healthy. Eating fruit is correlated with stable weight, a healthy weight, lower blood pressure, lower incidence of cancer, lower incidence of COPD, lower risk of diabetes, lower risk of pretty much everything that's killing everybody. The healthiest populations in the world all eat fruit, and fruit is directly correlated with your longevity. People who eat 4 or 5 or 6 servings of fruit a day usually live longer than other people, independent of other variables. Cutting out fruit isn't a really smart move, and if you're cutting out fruit because you don't want to eat fructose and you want to limit your sugar, that's probably a bad move, unless you have some genetic abnormality that doesn't allow you to properly metabolize fructose. Some people do have that. Their livers can't process it, and so they die if they eat fructose. But if you're watching that, that's probably not you. If you're not eating several servings of fruit a day, you're really missing out. The third point about fructose is that fructose isocalorically doesn't cause weight gain. So if you take 2,000 calories and you're not eating any fructose, and then you add 500 calories of fructose, you're not going to gain any weight. That's what I mean isocalorically. You only gain weight in the presence of a caloric surplus. But fructose by itself can't make you gain any weight, and this is why I don't think it's causing the obesity crisis. What's causing weight gain is the presence of highly palatable, convenient, tasty food 24/7. Yes, I agree that sugar-sweetened beverages, or SSBs, like soda, juice, and some teas and chocolate milk are contributing to weight gain, but it's because you're convenient, you open the top and you start drinking, and it's not natural for humans to drink their sugar. Chutzpah people in Africa drinking their honey notwithstanding. My point is, you don't find liquid sugar in nature. That's something that humans created because it's really tasty, right? We like to drink beer, we like to drink soda, we like to drink tea and milk and all these other things. That's okay as long as you're not drinking 3 or 4 cans a day. Personally, I like to limit my soda to social events only, which is not very much these days, and that's why I limit it to that, because I don't want to be drinking a ton of fructose. 1 can of Pepsi, for example, it's like 60 grams of sugar. That's not natural. Whereas 1 banana might only have 6 or 7 grams of fructose in 1 serving. So if you eat 5 servings of fruit a day, you're probably only eating maybe 30 grams of fructose a day, and that's not going to kill you. My next point is fructose doesn't increase blood pressure. They've studied this over and over. People who eat high servings of fruit have normal blood pressure. Actually, they have a lower incidence of hypertension or high blood pressure compared to people who don't eat fruit. Remember, fruit consumption is correlated with everything that you want, like longer life, and it's inversely correlated with everything that you don't want, like cancer and cardiovascular disease and diabetes and obesity, etc. If you have blood pressure problems, you might want to consider adding more fruit to your diet. Now, if you're diabetic, you have to be a little more careful, and I'm not an endocrinologist, I am not a diabetes expert, just a disclaimer here. But I don't see how adding several pieces of fruit to your diet each day, like apples and oranges and berries, is going to make you less healthy, or how it's going to exacerbate your diabetes. What makes your diabetes worse is a lack of exercise, a lot of processed carbs, a lot of sugar, and just too many calories in general. My next point is de novo lipogenesis. So de novo lipogenesis is when the liver takes energy that you consume and converts it into body fat. This is one of the principal arguments of people like Dr. Lustig. They say that when you consume all this fructose, the liver automatically converts it into body fat. Well, now we know that de novo lipogenesis doesn't work as well as it does in other animals like rats. A lot of what we know about nutrition comes from experiments on rats. It's just easier to do these experiments on rats because you can put them in cages and control everything. You can't really do that with humans because, you know, we have lives to live. But what we found is that their livers convert fructose to fat much more efficiently than humans. In humans, it's more like 10%. In humans, a lot of that fructose is converted into glucose or lactate, or even glycogen, and then the remaining is converted into fat. It's only like 10% of all the fructose that's converted into fat, which is not very much, and it's certainly less than what Dr. Lustig is telling us. So if that's the case, how can we blame fructose on obesity and diabetes and leptin resistance? I just don't think you can. My next point is fructose isn't bad, but excessive energy is. I've made this point so many times. Everybody thinks that, you know, keto is the healthiest diet, or vegan's the healthiest diet, or paleo or whatever. You don't hear about paleo too much anymore. It goes to show you how many trends there are in this industry. But fructose itself isn't bad. It's just when you consume too much of everything. It's when you're eating 3,000 calories a day and then you drink 40 ounces of Mountain Dew. Yeah, that's a problem. But if you only drank, let's say, 4 cans of Pepsi each day, and that was it, you probably wouldn't gain weight. And you'd probably get healthier if you were obese, because you'd be consuming a lot of that extra body fat. Now, I'm not saying you should drink 4 cans of Pepsi a day to lose weight. That's probably not a very healthy way. In fact, that's not a really healthy way. But my point is that having that excess energy, regardless of where it comes from, whether it's fat, protein, or carbs, regardless if it's organic or not organic, it doesn't really matter. From a weight standpoint, eating fructose isn't going to make you gain weight. It's not going to make you lose weight. It's just another sugar. My next point, and I kind of mentioned this when I talked about fruit, is that avoiding fructose isn't going to make you healthier, especially if you're eating a lot of processed carbs, a lot of vegetable oils, and a lot of other processed foods. Fructose itself is not the problem. I can't emphasize that point enough. I mean, it's just a chemical. It goes into your liver, and a lot of it is converted into glucose anyway. What you want to avoid is excess. Excess is really the problem here, because that's what impairs adipocyte functioning, or your fat cells. They don't function properly. Then you develop diabetes. Then you develop metabolic syndrome and all of these other health problems. Losing weight by any means is healthier than the best diet in excess. My next point about fructose is that you should probably eliminate sugar-sweetened beverages, especially soda. One of the main points of books like Fat Chance by Robert Lustig is the role that sugar-sweetened beverages have played in the obesity epidemic. Consumption of these beverages has skyrocketed in the last 30 or 40 years because it's just so convenient, and it's cheaper, and it's everywhere. That's why you see a lot of municipalities and countries putting taxes on soda, because it's an obvious culprit. You see kids walking home with a bottle of Fanta in their hands, and oh, that's the cause of obesity, because they're drinking Fanta when they walk home. I think the problem is that these sugar-sweetened beverages don't satiate hunger very well. It's very easy to overconsume them. They're not natural. We don't get the satiety signal from liquid calories that we get from food calories. Liquid calories don't satiate us like calories from solid food because we don't have to chew anything, and I think that chewing process and that grinding process actually sends a message to our brain that we're full and that we've actually eaten something. What happens is all of these liquid calories become excess calories, and that's the problem. I don't recommend you drink too many liquid calories. They're not satiating, they're not really fun to drink. And if I have a choice, I'm going to eat something solid. But if you're really concerned about fructose and you're really concerned about the sugar that you're eating and you're really concerned about your health, I would start with sugar sweetened beverages. I would not cut out fruit. I wouldn't even cut out Skittles yet, although Skittles aren't really that healthy either. But if you're really concerned about fructose and sugar, start with sugar sweetened beverages, start with soda, and you're probably going to notice an improvement in your health. So the big takeaway of this whole video is don't fear fructose, fear excess. My question to you is, what's your favorite fruit and how are you going to cut back on fructose? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you found this video entertaining and educational. But this video would not be possible without Focus Me. Focus Me is an app that keeps me focused and eliminates distractions when I make these videos, and it keeps me productive. I also want to thank Essetino artist Auret and Jewel for creating the thumbnail for this video. If you need assistance with YouTube SEO, course creation, graphic design, Etsy, or fulfillment by Amazon, hit up Auret and Jewel. There is a link in the description box below. And don't forget to check out my free 7-day challenge, Stop Overeating in 7 days. If you're an entrepreneur or a young professional and you want to eat right, lose weight, get fit, whatever, this is the course you've always been waiting for, and it's absolutely free. You can find the link in the description box. And if you want to speak with me personally, there is also a link below. And don't forget to check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.